First, we will explain the introduction about financial integrity for transparency and accountability in KPK. The Corruption Eradication Commission, or KPK, is an independent government institution that plays an important role in fighting corruption in Indonesia. To carry out its duties effectively, the KPK needs employees who have strong integrity, good skill, and solid commitment to anti-corruption values. Because of that, managing employee expenditure is very important to maintain their welfare, motivation, and work performance. Employee expenditure at the KPK include salaries, allowance, and performance-based incentive, which must be managed in transparent and accountable way according to the law. However, in practice, challenges such as limited budgets, change in salary policies, and the need for employee development still make it difficult to manage the budget optimally.
Okay, next presentation is about structure of Corruption Eradication Commission employee expenditure components. Taking a closer look at each component, employee expenditure in 2024 saw some very interesting shift. There are four main categories highlighted in the data. First, spending on salaries and allowance for civil servants experienced a dramatic surge, from 26 trillion rupiah sharply rising to 175 rupiah and increase about 550% despite is closely related to salary adjustment for civil servant and large-scale conversion of honorary workers into civil servant throughout 2024. Second, salary and allowance for state officials actually saw slight decline from 7 trillion down rupiah to 6 trillion rupiah, a decrease of roughly 5.54%. This reduction may be driven by position efficiency measure and rationalization of allowance for high-ranking officials. Third, salaries and allowance for non-civil servant employee experienced the steepest drop from 682 trillion rupiah down to only 56 trillion rupiah, a decrease of approximately 90%. This indicates that the majority of non-civil servant personnel have now transitioned into civil servant status. Meanwhile, the last component, special transitional allowance, recorded an extraordinary increase, jumping from 65 trillion rupiah to 653 trillion rupiah, or up by nearly 900%. This massive rise signifies a major transition period in the national civil service system, where the government is adjusting allowance during the ongoing employee status conversion process. That's all from me. The next part of the presentation will be explained by my friend. Thank you.
Okay, next I will explain about employee spending proportion trends. The bar chart shows us a comparison of the proportion of employee spending to the total KPK budget in 2023 and 2024. In 2023, employee spending reached 63.9% of the total budget and increased to 65.9% in 2024, or an increase of about 2 percentage points. This increase shows that the KPK budget is increasingly focused on improving employee welfare, in line with the implementation of Presidential Regulation No. 51 of 2023 concerning special allowance for KPK employees, as well as additional allocation for health insurance and retirement benefits. Although the proportion of personal expenditure has increased, this reflects the KPK commitment to strengthening human resource and employee integrity. However, balance must still be maintained so that improvements in welfare do not reduce the effectiveness of the budget for operational activities and law enforcement.
Next is about the impact of increased employee expenditures on government performance. The increase in KPK employee spending in 2024 has proven to have a significant impact on organizational performance in combating corruption. This investment was allocated to four main components: increased salaries and allowance for civil servants due to salary adjustments and the appointment of honorary workers as civil servants, provision of salaries and allowance for state officials, compensation for non-civil service employees, and most substantially the provision of special allowance for transitional employees which experienced a very significant increase. The positive impact of this human resource investment is clearly visible in various aspects of KPK's performance. Organizational performance values show considerable improvement. The success rate of convicting corruption defendants exceeded the established targets, and the recovery of assets from corruption was also successfully enhanced with very substantial state financial saving. Additionally, organizational culture and the implementation of merit system in personal management also experienced substantial improvements. KPK also conducted recruitment of new employees and implemented talent management system and training programs that were attended by the majority of employees. These overall efforts demonstrate that employee spending is not merely a routine expenditure for paying salaries, but rather constitutes a strategic investment in building organizational capacity that ultimately produces tangible improvements in effectiveness and efficiency in carrying out corruption eradication that is on a sustainable basis.
Have you ever wondered why in some regions the budget is spent entirely on employee salaries, but roads and public facilities remain neglected? Well, this is what is known as the risk of overspending on employee salaries. Let's discuss it together so we can understand. Okay, now you can imagine if out of regional budget of Rp 100 billion and Rp 70 billion is spent on employee salaries and allowances. The result? Yeah, only a small amount is left for development. So, this is called budget imbalance, where routine spending is greater than productive spending. In fact, development and public service also needs funds, right? Okay, next about decreased effectiveness of public funds. So, if state funds only circulate in employee salaries, the benefits are only felt internally by the government. So the community? They only get indirect effect. This means that use of public funds is less effective because it does not create economic added value. Okay, next about obstacle to development and public service. Well, this is the domino effect. Because the limited fund, education, health, and infrastructure projects are often delayed. So, don't be surprised if schools are still not proper or health centers are not fully equipped. Excessive personal spending can cause public service to stagnate. Okay, next about imbalance between expenditure and the result. Logically, the greater the expenditure, the greater the result, right? But if personal spending dominates, the results are not proportional. So, this is what is called expenditure that is not proportional to a result. Next, about fiscal dependence on the central government. Regions with low PAD are usually the most affected. Because too much is spent on personnel, they end up depending on central government funds. And as a result, regions become less independent and find it difficult to develop their local economic potential. Okay, finally about regarding risk to fiscal sustainability. This is important because personal expenditures continue to increase without a strong surge of revenue. The long-term budget will become unsustainable.
After hearing about all the issues in the 2024 financial reports of the Corruption Eradication Commission, here are our suggestions for those issues. First, I'm going to talk about our solution for the first issue, which is the drastic surge of spending for salaries and allowances for civil servants. First, the Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK should should adopt the Sustainable Wage Bill framework developed by the World Bank in 2022, which includes 6 dimensions, which is personal expenditure planning, implementation controls, staffing levels and distribution, wage competitiveness, pay equity, and performance-based incentives. This framework provides a structured approach to ensure that personal spending remains efficient, equitable, and aligned with long-term fiscal goals. Second, implementing an integrated human resource management information system or HRMIS linked to the payroll system is essential to ensure reconciliation between the staff register, payroll list, and actual payments. An integrated HRMIS improves transparency and accuracy by preventing discrepancy and ghost employees in payroll management. This framework has been proven effective in helping Pacific Island countries manage resource crisis during the COVID-19 pandemic by considering short, medium, and long-term impacts in personnel spending decisions. Its success in other regions shows that sustainable personnel management can reduce fiscal shocks during economic crises. KPK should also harmonize pay scales through a single spine salary structure to avoid excessive fragmentation within spending components. A unified salary structure ensures fairness, transparency, and consistency across all employee categories. Last but not least, periodic reviews of the remuneration framework aligned with economic developments are necessary to maintain a competitive yet fiscally sustainable compensation package supported by accurate medium-term forecasting. Regular reviews allow the organization to adjust salaries in line with inflation and fiscal realities while maintaining competitiveness. Next, I'm going to discuss about the second main issue, which is employee spending proportion trends, which is further divided into two issues. That is, first, the impact of increased employee expenditures on government performance, and the second, the risk of overspending on personnel costs. First, I'm going to discuss about the first issue, which is the impact of increased employee expenditure on government performance and our suggested solution to combat this issue. First, the Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK should implement performance-based budgeting or PBB, which has been shown to improve public sector efficiency by up to 15.7%, reduce budget variance, and lower the cost per service unit by 11%. PBB links budget allocation to measurable results, ensuring that spending directly supports performance outcome. OECD data in 2025 show that 85% of 33 member countries have adopted various forms of PBB, with most using performance information to guide resource allocation and publish performance reports for transparency. This demonstrates that PBB is a global best practice for enhancing accountability and transparency in government budgeting. Third, strengthening the merit system in human resource management is crucial for achieving bureaucratic transformation that creates added value for citizens and stakeholders. A strong merit system ensures that promotion and rewards are based on performance, not favoritism or seniority. A 2024 study in West Java province found that talent management significantly influences organizational performance through the mediating role of dynamic managerial capabilities. Developing employee potential and leadership capacity leads to a better decision-making and higher institutional performance. The Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK should also develop a comprehensive performance measurement framework with sector-adjusted indicators, invest in robust IT infrastructure to improve data timelines and accuracy by up to 40%, and build leadership capacity to ensure that personnel spending leads to measurable performance improvements. Integrating data-driven evaluation with strong leadership ensures that spending contributes to long-term performance gains. Next, I'm going to talk about the solution to the last issue, which is the risk of overspending on personnel costs. Our suggestion to combat this issue are: first, The Corruption Eradication Commission should adopt a structured expenditure control approach by implementing demand management measures such as spending caps and aligning budget releases with actual revenue during execution. This helps prevent overspending and maintains fiscal discipline throughout the budget cycle. The IMF's 2023 report on Mali highlights the importance of long-term structural reforms to stabilize nominal wage growth and strengthen personnel expenditure management through institutional and social mechanisms. Institutional reforms ensure that wage growth remains sustainable and under effective control. Cross-country evidence shows that such mechanisms improve wage formation and recruitment efficiency, as demonstrated by Egypt's success in reducing its wage bill by nearly 3.5 percentage points of GDP between 2014 and 2019. Egypt's case proves that disciplined control over bonuses and allowances can significantly reduce wage-related fiscal pressure. A 2022 World Bank study emphasizes that fiscal sustainability assessments of wage spending should maintain personal expenditure growth at or below nominal GDP growth as a key benchmark. Keeping wage growth in line with GDP ensures that the government fiscal positions remain stable over time. Last, the Corruption Eradication Commission or KPK should design a medium-term fiscal sustainability strategy with scenario-based personal spending projections, targets for the ratio of personal spending to the total expenditure or GDP, and automatic adjustments mechanism to control wage bill growth while maintaining public service quality and organizational productivity. This approach balances fiscal prudence with the need to sustain high quality and efficient public service.
Last, we will explain the conclusion. The 14.14% increase in KPK expenditure in 2024 compared to 2023 saw a strategic investment in improving staff welfare and skills. This effort has helped improve the organization performance as seen in higher performance score, sentencing rates, and asset recovery result. However, since employee expenditure make up 65.9% of the total budget, it also creates a fiscal risk that needs to be managed carefully. Therefore, it is recommended the KPK apply a performance-based budgeting system and a sustainable wage bill framework to keep employee expenditure efficient, transparent, and sustainable without reducing productivity or limiting fund for important programs.